Hello everyone, this is Alpasha, social entrepreneur, author and finance professional. I have a very special friend and guest today with me, Mr. Kumar, who is the Managing Director and CEO at Axis Asset Management Company. Welcome, Gop sir. So my first question to you is, sir, that everyone is talking about Amrit Kal, Suvarna Kal. What is your guidance and suggestion to all our mutual fund distributors, how they can grow their business multifold in next coming 10 years and make the best of this Amrit Kal?
Thank you, Alpa. Thank you for being me part of this show. Thank you very much. I used to follow your videos quite often.
Thank you.
I think you've done a great job of educating people. I think your question goes very apt. I think there was a large change in the way the Indian investors are investing today. I think even though if you go by numbers, just 2.5% of the Indian population investing, but I think what I see for next decade is that large change in terms of the way people are looking at investing. I think huge opportunity for distributors to be part of this large industry. And the way I look at it is that today opportunities exist, just not looking at single product. How can the advisors become multi-product and become a true advisor for the investors? I think that can be a larger challenge because most of the mutual fund distributors will be only focusing on one product. I think how can they become multi-product and how can they keep up their knowledge on different products what mutual fund industry is bringing? I think next 10 years can be a great decade for the industry.
Thank you, Gop sir, for that insight. And Gop sir envisage Amrit Kal to the fullest. Well, all those mutual fund distributors who are traditional in their approach will have to surely gear up and make the best of it. Gop sir, one more thing which I really wanted to ask you and your advice to all our women mutual fund distributors or the distributors who are planning to enter into mutual fund distribution business. What is your piece of advice to them? What is that different one thing they should bring in on table for our investors?
It's a nice question to ask because in our firm in Axis AMC, today we have 32% of our employee base is women. Our diversity rate is around 32%. I do believe that, which is highest in the industry in terms of the way we are. In fact, it's highest in our group, in terms of Axis group. If you really look at, we have 32% diversity ratio. We also look at and see what are the trends changing in terms of our investor base. If you look at last 3 years, we didn't see a very linear growth in terms of women coming and investing in the mutual funds. And it is just not, if you look at 10 years back, it is traditionally the decisions are taken by male and you will see much more money coming in that male as a gender. Today that is getting much more diversified. We do believe that 28-29% of our total base of investors are women. And women also becomes an active participation in terms of decision making, in terms of what mutual fund and the financial decisions of the family is also now becoming much more critical, where women plays a critical role in terms of where they're investing and they're completely aware of what they're trying to do. Coming to the women as the distributor, I think we have seen the surge here also where women is coming and participating and saying that they want to be an advisors. And I do see a large change there. The challenge here is that how comprehensive you will know as an advisor. I think you need to be an advisor to the customer. I think there's a large shift has to happen from a product focus to our asset allocation and risk profile of the customers. And being a true advisor to the customer is very critical. I think women can do much better in terms of what male can do. I think both are equal in terms of what they can advise. But I do see a large participation women advisors nowadays.
Wow. So there's a very big prospects for women as far as the investing is concerned and also the mutual fund distribution business is concerned. Gop sir is a strong advocate as far as technology and innovation is concerned. What is your advice to all our mutual fund distributors, how they can leverage to the fullest and grow their business multifold with the help of technology and innovation?
I think you're asking the right question, because if you look at the present generation, I think largely they depend on technology, and technology platforms are done extremely well. My belief, I think most of the forums I speak about technology, that how technology can help to build business. Today, for example, when you look at mutual fund as industry, the digital has become Bharat. The Bharat is able to service the customer much better in terms of reaching out parts of Bharat. So for me, digital is Bharat in terms of the way I look at. I do see that people have to invest on technology platforms. There are number of platforms available, because that's the need of hour. So if you have to sum up and say how technology will work in terms of advisory, I think technology becomes the center stage of how the advisories are built. I think less focus has been given in terms of customer reporting. I think my belief is that we as industry has to spend more time in terms of how can the reporting structures can be much better. Today, technology also is playing a critical role in terms of what we want to advise to customers. And there is an automation from terms of asset allocation and risk profilers, which helps to you to advise customer much better. And also very important is that technology also helps you to understand the customer better in terms of insights and what type of products what you can offer. I think last 8 to 10 years, I think this has changed drastically, and I've seen number of platforms in India now, whether it is a B2B platform or a B2C platform, doing extremely well. Yes. I think my belief is that technology is the only one way you can reach out to more and more customers and do a superior advisory for a customer through technology. I think I can go on and on in terms of what the technology can do for advisory. I think the technology is going to be a base platform for investors from here onwards.
Thank you, Gop sir. I think the future is all about how fast we are adopting technology and how innovative we are, for sure. Well, my next question to Gop sir is that what do you exactly feel that how we can encourage more and more youngsters as an investor into mutual fund industry, as well as how they can join this beautiful business of mutual fund distribution?
So let's talk about now the way the behavior change in terms of the investors are today. Traditionally, if you really look at the investors at the younger age coming in a fixed deposit or a traditional investment products which they used to take, today I do see in India there is a very structural change. You are not a saver today, you are more of an investor. The first choice of product, if you look at 10 years back, maybe FT, the first choice today is SIP. I think there is a large structural change has happened from a saver to investor. I think my belief is that it will continue to be much more than what it is today. And it is very, very clearer for us also if you look at from a platform business perspective. If you look at large platforms, fintech platforms, today they have become almost 40-45% of the SIPs market today, because they are being, one is the ease of use, second is that technology which is driving them. And there is a serious conscious in terms of where the way I look at is that the returns chases the money. I think money chases returns. And that to that extent, I do see that people start evaluating between a traditional product and the mutual fund as a product. I think there is a large amount of belief that mutual funds can deliver better returns than the traditional product. Coming to the newer generation, coming to the distribution community, that is also changing very fast. If you really look at the college curriculums, whether you take a graduation curriculums, you do see the education in terms of mutual funds. It didn't happen in my career, which when I came in, I think we all learned in 2000 what the mutual fund is all about. But today there is a early awareness, and there is also a feeling sense that they want to be an entrepreneur. I think this is a great platform. Mutual fund is one of the great platforms where you can advise customers. Traditionally, if you look at 20 years back, people used to come to finance services distribution is only through an LIC agent, right? And I think we'll see a lot of insurance agents coming here. But now we do see that the average age of the distributors are coming down, and I do see that that people less than 30 years coming to distribution communities much faster. And today the regulation also has become much more easier, where I do see that people working for 2 or 3 years, the banks, then they want to be entrepreneur, and they become much more easier for movement of their AUMs to become an MFD. I think that change has happened. And the regulation is also very conducive for people to become entrepreneur today. And the third point is that about the knowledge. I think today most youngsters have better knowledge than most of the people who are investing today. I think my belief is these are three things which will help in the industry to grow, where technology is one thing, second is on the younger people coming in. And I do see very, very structural change where the investing is done in India.
Wow. So Gop sir is completely advising all of us to embrace technology, innovation, and of course, the younger generation is much more savvy to invest through SIP in mutual fund. So the future is extremely bright for our mutual fund industry as far as investors are concerned, women investors are concerned, mutual fund distributors, and of course the AMC. So Gop sir is a fitness enthusiast, marathon runner, and very passionate for health. Well, Gop sir, what's your advice to all our mutual fund distributors and even to the investors, people at large, how health and wealth both are equally important, and how they should pay full attention on their mental health, physical health, so that they grow personally also, and of course by default, they will be a happy person?
Thank you for asking this question, because most of the people ask me this question because I come from a fitness sports regime. I've always believed one thing is that people are busy chasing wealth, and the wealth element is that chasing returns. I think day to day they are very busy. I think idea is that as human beings, one of the biggest criteria for people is that how much wealth they create. I think what they miss is that about the health. If you don't have fairly good health, I don't think what wealth you accumulate has no reason. I'm a very strong believer that you create wealth and you need to enjoy the wealth. If you don't have a proper health, and there is no reason why you create wealth. I think idea is that you need to spend at least 1 hour a day and think about saying what I can do. I think I'm not saying that everybody should be a marathon runner, everybody should be a great fitness enthusiast, but you need to say that I need to spend 1 hour for myself. When I speak about health, it is just not saying that how physically I look at or how trimmed I look at. I think most people believe that health means just only about how physical appearance should look like. Most important for me from a health perspective is also about mental well-being. I do see people with a great health also have a not having a large mental well-being. So my belief is that health is very comprehensive in terms of nature. A lot of people think that health issues are very personal. My belief is that yes, it's personal, but you need to work on that health issues. I think there are fixes. Today, as we speak, that medical sciences have changed the way we need to look at health. As we speak in earlier conversation about how you need to create wealth, when health is also so important for you. I think if you are to be a very comprehensive human being in this world, I think you need to give so importance to health as much you give importance to your health. I think I do see distributors giving excuses saying that they're very busy, they're meeting clients every time. I think we all are busy people. We also spend 12 to 18 hours working. What is important is that spend that 1 hour for yourself. It will pay you in a very, very longer term. And I see that wealth is also long-term wealth creation. Health is also a longer-term initiative. Absolutely. I think you need to think about it.
What a great advice. I'm supercharged. And I think everyone who's listening to this interview, Gop sir has a very clear message. Please look after your health, and then only you can enjoy your wealth. Happiness is directly connected with how you lead your life with full confidence. And to a great extent, I think health is a very, very important aspect of our life. Gop sir, you believe a lot in ESG, environmental, social governance. In fact, this beautiful office is also a part of that belief. What is your view going forward? ESG funds investors should consider, how it's going to impact the entire society, world at large, and what is your thought process? So, can you please throw some lights on this?
Yeah. Again, thanks for asking the same question, which is very unusual. People don't ask me this question on ESG because broadly our industry and our clients chase for returns. I think idea is that what does ESG contribute to the society and the governance and environment and all this put together. I think it's a primary responsibility for us to ensure that the ESG is done pretty well as a society. We also have a ESG fund which we really work. I do think ESG today are not popularized as much as what it's supposed to be, because when you really look at ESG as a concept, we also have a partner called Schroders based out of UK. They are one of the largest asset managers globally. If you look at most funds are ESG compliant funds. If you look at from at least from a longer period perspective or a 10-12 years perspective, ESG funds have done much better than the normal funds. But as we speak in India, there are only a couple of ESG funds which looks at. So ESG as a concept is very good. I think longer term investing in ESG funds helps people to create wealth, and it also contributes to society because it speaks about environment, social responsibility and good governance. And we try to pick up these companies which are qualify for the ESG framework. The regulator also monitors their framework very closely. We also have audit done by the ESG governance committee. Having said that, ESG is a part of our DNA in Axis. So as you speak, our office is ESG compliant. We have a building which is Platinum 5 rated. We don't see much plastics in our office. We don't give much visiting cards. We don't spend much papers. So I think a lot of smaller things we contribute ourselves, and so we also try to get rated ourselves as a ESG firm. We also have a responsibility to our shareholders. And as a group, as Axis as a group, we do practice ESG very closely, and it's very critical for our overall strategy in our organization.
शुरुआत SIP से सोचा समझा risk. Wow, these are beautiful initiatives taken by Axis Mutual Fund for investor awareness. Gop sir, can you please let us know what are these initiatives and how our investors are going to get benefited with them?
Shurat SIP, that's a campaign which we focused on saying that how do we get a new set of investors coming in. And we have seen a large change. I think this has been in work for last 2 years. I worked very closely in terms of building a strong narrative in most of the public media and talking to people, doing a lot of IIP programs, the investor education programs across the country. We have achieved something because we do see that in the industry also benefited by running this campaign very, very closely. It also depends on our industry, the industry, how they got shaped up. And as I said earlier, there was a very structural change in terms of the investing is happening. And we have much more younger people coming in, and people start evaluating the traditional FDs, post office schemes. Yes. And people now start redeeming that and coming to mutual fund. I think that campaign was large, successfully continue to focus that as a theme in our investment awareness program, which we do across, just not focusing on Gen Zs. We also do it in large clubs, we do it in associations, government forums. So a lot of work happening there. Socha Samjha risk was a well thought one for us because there is a regulator saying about riskometer. A lot of people have not even looked at riskometer before they invest, including my advisory committee, including our advisors who advise customers. I think we do thought that that's a right IAP program what we should run across industry. We ran it last year. We'll continue this year also looking at it. What are we trying to say is that people should look at their risk profile and start choosing the products. Unfortunately, what is happening in the industry is that you first choose a product and you don't think about the risks associated with that. If you really look at recently, if you look at last 12 to 18 months, we have seen a lot of money flowing to small and mid caps. I think people are chasing returns and people are not looking at risk. Our call out very clearly on such a risk is all about risk adjusted return, saying that amount of risk what you take and what is the returns to that. And you need to look at other way around also. So the Samjha Risk was a very, very comprehensive campaign what we did. It is just not on the TV, we did across Bharat. Our focus was, Samjha Risk was, campaign was largely on B and C class cities now. That is through IIP programs. We created a lot of programs for the MFDs in terms of to understand risk profiling. So if you look at our own website, you will find risk profiler and the products together. So you do understand. So Riskometer as a concept when a regulator launched, a lot of people have not worked on it. I think we have taken initiative to spread the news in terms of how do you choose the right product. And such as the risk was well taken as a concept across country. We also ran programs in multilingual programs. We are just not focused on Hindi and English, which is traditionally our industry does it. So we do have local languages and local branches doing a lot of workshops around this. And it was, for us, it's a very ongoing process. It is just not one campaign. So you will see different form and shapes of that in coming months. And we'll continue to be want to be a distinctive in terms of building that narrative to our investors.
I'm so happy that the vision of Gop sir as far as investor awareness programs are concerned, especially for women. Whenever I have come with some different initiative or idea, he has always given me go ahead. So the visionaries like Gop sir or Axis Mutual Fund, as a whole industry will do wonderfully well because the focus on educating is moral responsibility, and that is what is going forward work wonderfully well for all of us. So on women investors, on women mutual fund distributors, youth, ESG, so many aspects, health, of course, Gop sir has enlightened us today. Empower Education has very recently launched Go Beyond to Grow Beyond.
Yeah.
In fact, I had consulted you also, and you had also guided me on what kind of training programs, etc., we should design for our mutual fund distributors. So what do you think that one or two things is must for them, to upgrade and to just learn? I mean, you tell them that they cannot grow without these 2-3 things, sir.
I think first call out which I'll try to do is that they need to be a comprehensive advisor to the investor. I think today our mutual fund distributors are largely focused on mutual fund, that to an equity fund. I think first call out which I'll try to do is that they need to be a comprehensive advisor to the investor. Plus like passives they need to work on. And they also need to be a multi-product in the sense that their ability to give insurance solutions, loan product to the people, and how you can become a very comprehensive advisor to the investor. I think we are only looking at one side of the customer's wealth. There are liabilities, asset sides also where the customer takes home loan, take car loan. How can we help him? I think that is one. And that leads to a question saying that, are we doing a comprehensive financial planning for a customer? My answer is that we are 30 to 40% of people do it, but substantial portion of people don't even look at financial planning as a tool. Second important call out is technology. I think we spoke enough of technology for the last 20 minutes, but I think technology is what people are looking at. Your customer ability to interact through digital is so important, because if you have to go beyond, the theme of going beyond is about how do I penetrate more on customer, how do I penetrate more regions, how do I get more customers. I think these are the 3-4 questions is what the theme is all about. The only solution to reaching more customers is that how can I give a technology platform to customer, and how can customers can interact with me on a technology platform. that becomes more scalable, becomes more Bharat in terms of reaching out. I think my belief is that if you're able to give these two things much better, I think your ability to reach more customer and go beyond as a team will work much better. I think the bigger gap today, I think there are a lot of platforms helping people. AMCs also help people to build technology platforms. Every AMC has a very good technology platform. I think what is important to be is that how much comprehensive financial planning we can do with the customer. I think that will differentiate you in the marketplace and your ability to do more business. And ultimately, what is the answer is that you need to be a success factor. The success factor is all about how much quantum of wealth you create for customers. So not important. I think my belief is that what is important is to that how much I can reach the financial goal of the customer is important. I think this is a large difference. A lot of people don't understand that difference because most people think that, I've got a customer 10 years back, he has put some 10,000 rupees, it's become 20,000. I think sometimes become immaterial because you may not reach the financial goal of the customer. So if you look at financial planning as a tool, is all about how do you work very closely with the investors and how do you become part and parcel of his dreams and how much you can fulfill. I think when I look at my career of 28 years, I think very important for me is that when I came to mutual fund industry, I think what is very satisfying for me is that we fulfill most of the people's dreams. If you do it right, and the way India is growing, my belief is that I am also part of fulfilling the people's dream and financial goals. I think that helps a lot the way you think. The purpose is defined for us. How do we work with MFDs and end customers? So it's clearly going beyond is one of the themes which I do like personally and think we will work as an AMC going forward.
Wow, go beyond to grow beyond. Gop sir is saying everyone must focus on goal-based financial planning and of course technology. There is no second thought. Any organization is recognized and highly successful if they follow processes, compliance and operations well. Axis Mutual Fund is one of its organization who is definitely following all the compliances and the operational processes very well. Gop sir, I would like to speak to our audience on how the organization is following all these things.
I think if you look at our journey for last 12 to 13 months, when I came in as the CEO for Axis Mutual Fund, we work on three broad frameworks. One is product, people, and process. And process becomes very critical for us when we really look at. And other two was very important, so we called out three things. The processes is very important for us because we look at all the customer journeys. We also look at compliance. Compliance is heart of the organization because the changing landscape, compliances environment is changing. How transparent we are with the regulators, how all the stakeholders, just not with regulators. I think compliance becomes much more stronger for us. We have done a lot of work in terms of improving our processes. Very interestingly is that on the process side, I want to call out before we do speak about compliance, why compliance is important, is that we are the early AMCs to calculate NPS scores, Net Promoter Scores. So we do calculate all the customer touch points and we take feedbacks from customers. And we implement a model called NPS, which is much more acceptable globally. In the Axis Group also, we follow the NPS. It becomes the agenda from a shareholder's perspective, board perspective, that NPS has to be calculated on a monthly basis. So there are a dedicated team which works on process improvements for us. We do follow Six Sigma in terms of our process frameworks in place. So a lot of work is happening on terms of processes, but my view is that it's ongoing in terms of improving processes. Coming to compliance, when I said beginning of this conversation that compliance is the heart of our organization because the industry has grown last 5-6 years. I think compliance is actually catching up now. I think having said that, A lot of automation is happening in terms of how we can manage compliance through technology. So, for example, we have a large customer base. I think industry has 4.2 crore customer base. We have 1.2 customers, 1 crore 20 lakh customers. What does it mean that every fourth customer you'll find one access customer? I think that's the reach. There's a size when we manage. We manage almost 2,98,000 crores of assets. So compliance becomes so critical for us because this business is all about trust. I think people give their hard-earned money to asset managers like us to manage. My expectation is that we need to deliver returns to the investor. I think we as an AMC are very, very conscious about it. So process and compliance works. Process is a larger framework. Compliance actually comes under that, and we do work on compliance as a process. I do see large improvements with us. We've been very compliant with the regulator, and more important is that we are very, very transparent with what we do, not only with investors, also with the MFD community. I do have my visits. I do speak about these compliances with most of the MFD communities across India. Now, thank you again for asking the similar questions. So very interesting.
Thank you, Gop sir, for your time. And thank you very much. Your all guidance, feedback, and the motivation. All the mutual fund distributors, investors, women entrepreneurs like me is fully charged today. Once again, we highly, highly appreciate your time which you took out today from your busy schedule. Thank you so much, Gop sir.
Thank you, Alpa, for coming in and doing this show. I think you're doing a great job of educating just not MFDs and investors what they should do. I've been observing a couple of videos. I think you're doing a great job. Please do continue the job. I think we want more and more women investors, women advisors, and you're being a torchbearer for women in this industry. Thank you so much for coming to our office. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Hope you have liked this knowledge on investing. Please like us, share this video, and do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.